comments. It's Diana from It's Only Makeup, and I'm here with my brow routine. It's actually not a complicated process. It takes me about 5 minutes each morning to do my brows, and I'll show you all the products that I use. I'll show you all the brushes that I use, how I make the color look natural, and how I clean up my brow. There are many different ways to do brows. There are many brow products. There are brow gels, brow pomades, there are pencils, there are high-end pencils, low-end pencils. There are just a lot of different ways to do your brows. This is just the current way that I do my brows. I have used pencils. I like the Anastasia Brow Wiz pencil. This is an amazing pencil. I have used the MAC brow pencil. That's a great brow pencil as well. I'm not crazy about that for my brows, but it's a great product, and I do love it. But what I use now is my Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade, and I find that that's wonderful. And I love the Anastasia products. So the container looks like this, and it's just a small container with some thick brow gel in it. And it works very, very nicely. Once it sets pretty quickly. It's waterproof, so your brows will not budge. They won't go anywhere. I want you to stay tuned if you're interested to see how I did my brows. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, leave them below in the comments, and I'll be sure to respond. If you are a current subscriber, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you stopping by my channel. If you are a new subscriber, I want to welcome you. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And if you like this and you want to see more of these types of videos, hit the like button so I know that you like it and I can produce videos that you want to see. Thank you for watching. And if you're interested in how I got these brows, then keep watching. So let's get started. I use the Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade in Auburn. I also use the Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade in Chocolate. MAC Pro Long Wear Concealer in the color NC43. MAC Brow Set Gel. I use a Mega Clear Brow Gel. I use several brushes for my brow. The first one is just a plain spoolie. It actually is a double-ended. It has an angled brush on one side, and then on the other side is just a spoolie. This one is from Sedona Lace, and it's the EB27 brush. Also, I use the MAC 263. Make sure that it's the right way. It's a MAC 263 angle brush. I also use this brush from Crown Brush, and it's called the number C470 flat eyeliner brush. And this is a synthetic brush. I like it because if you'll see, the brush is very sharp and it's thin. The bristles are thin. The last brush that I use is my Sedona Lace EB13 brush. And it's a fluffy brush, and I use this to blend out the concealer when I clean up underneath the brow. So those are the products that I use, and I'll show you the application. I start out with my clear brow gel, the Mega Gel, and I just brush some of that through my brows. So I just brush out and down. I just want the hair to be going in the right direction. And I go in with my MAC brush, my angled brush, and I go into the Auburn liner, the Auburn Dipbrow Pomade, and you've seen that, and it's just a deep brown color. And I only just take a little bit on my brush. So I go into the product, I take a little bit on the brush, and then I use the top of the pomade. As you can see, I have some product left over from previous applications. And I just smooth the product in the top. I just work it in just to get it soft, and so that I can control the amount of product that I actually apply to the brow. So I have the product on the brow. on the brush, excuse me. And what I do is I start just beyond the head of my brow. I take my angled brush, I lay it just above, just where my hairs are at the top, and I draw my line from just past the head of the brow all the way over to where my arch is. And I do the same thing at the bottom. I start just beyond the head of my brow, I plant my brush down, and I draw a line just where my hairs are, my brow hairs are, over to where my arch is. I sweep down and I draw my tail in. Just like that. And now I'm going to fill in the bottom of my tail. So I start underneath where my bottom line ended. I pick it up again with the brush. I place my brush at the end of the first line and I just sweep it down. And what I'm doing is I'm actually making a V. I'm connecting the two lines here at the end. You want to make sure that you stay within the natural lines of your brow, so you're not drawing your brow too wide, because your brow tells you where the line should be. And now that I've drawn the top line and the bottom line, whatever is left on my brush, I actually take that and just sweep it through the brow. I'm not picking up any more product. I'm sweeping it through to fill in my sparse areas. So I sweep it through the top of the brow, or the beginning of the brow, and the tail end of the brow. I take the product that's left and I sweep up the head of the brow. If you notice, my brows are naturally thick and I don't want to add too much product to the beginning of the brow because it's already thick and I want it to keep it looking natural.
Very superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious letters about to fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass. 7 years of bad luck. You good thing in your bag.
I have filled them in with the Dipbrow Pomade. What I'll do now is I'll take my spoolie and I go back through and I brush the product through my brows. What I'm doing here is blurring the lines on the top and the bottom because you don't want them to look that defined. You want your brows to look like they're filled in, but not too fake. You want them to have a natural feel to them because you want whatever color you use to complement your natural brow hair. So I just sweep through my brows, the head of the brow, the top of the brow, and then sweep just slightly on the tail end so we can blur the lines on the top and the bottom. And that's what we end up with, the product, and just sweeping the product through. Brows are actually filled in. I've used a pomade on both of them. What I do now is I take my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and it's in the color, well, the color is NC35, and I use a palette and I just pump one pump of this onto the palette. I take my definer brush, dip it into the concealer, and I place the brush just below the head of my brow, and I just draw a line straight under the brow, following the natural brow shape and brow hairs. And what this does is if the line that I've drawn is not perfect, this will straighten up the line, or if I've overdrawn the line, this will sculpt the line into place for me. And over here, once I finish with the head of the brow and the top, once I get to my arch, I turn my brush just a little so I can get through the tail of the brow. And if you've overdrawn the tail or your end is too wide, this is an opportunity now for you to clean the bottom of the brow, the tail of the brow up by taking your brush, and you can actually move it up just a little bit as you're going along, just to thin that line out at the end. You see how I sort of thinned out the tail of my brow. You want to make sure that you leave some product on your brow, and you don't want to leave your brows looking like this with the concealer under it. It's very important that you blend this out, because this is just a technique to clean your brow, and this concealer should be blended so that it disappears into your brow. I take my fluffy brush and I blend out the concealer that's under my eye. I blend it around and out and then down. And I make sure that there's no concealer left, that I can't see any product, that it's completely blended out. And I'm finished with the concealer on this side. And I repeat the same thing on the other side.
Very superstitious writings on the wall. Very superstitious letters about to fall. 13-month-old baby.
I don't use any product on the top of my brow. I don't find that it's necessary. With a steady hand, I draw the line on the top, but I don't find that I actually need any additional concealer or any concealer along the top, because I want that to look natural. If I did have any mistakes when I go in and do my foundation, that's the time that I will clean up the top of the brow with the foundation that's actually my skin color. Now that I have all the product in my brow, I go in with my MAC Brow Set Gel, and I just push some of this color through my brow. Brow Set Gel comes in a lot of different colors. If you are of a darker tone or darker complexion, then there are darker brow set gels that look very natural on darker skin.
Writings on the wall. Very superstitious letters about to fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass.
And that's it. And that's my brows.
In your past. When you believe in things that you don't understand, and you suffer. Superstition ain't the way.